You know what the concept of a parasocial relationship is?
No.
No. The concept of a parasocial relationship, you can be fooled into believing an illusion. And women and men are both capable of believing an illusion. In this case, the illusion is the girlfriend experience or the woman who's really into you. Clearly, when you get paid money to strip, you're not going to pretend that you hate the guy. That's not what you're doing. You're pretending that you're into him, that you think he's great, that you think he's fantastic. This makes you, in turn, more money. Now, we're speaking in generalities. I'm sure that you can point out some sicko who wants you to treat him like shit, but in general, you're going to act like you're really into the men that you are performing the service for, because that in turn is going to make you a lot more money, right? To kind of sit there and pretend that some of those men don't involve themselves in some kind of parasocial relationship or believe that the experience is real or that you really like them or something like that, it's bullshit. That actually isn't even possible. There has to be at least some of them that do believe that.
That's true.
I don't know what they believe, and I don't care. I'm just doing my job.
It's their
fault.
fault.
You don't care. You'll take advantage of them one way or the other because you're doing your job.
It's not taking
that's why
advantage.
I don't feel bad when you're like, oh, this guy took advantage of me. I'm like, good. That's called comeuppance.
They're going to a place of business, paying money for a service, like very knowingly, very willingly. Like they know what a strip club is. Most people know what strip clubs are, and they understand what they're getting into when they walk in there. I'm sure not everybody does to that full extent. We can't. He's gone now.
I feel like
he's gone.
I feel like a woman that's investing in a relationship based on trust of the guy and thinking that he's legitimate when he says a certain thing. I feel like that's completely different than a cash transaction.
They're two different
scenario.
things. You can't compare them or act like they're the same.
I mean,
you can compare them.
You know, there's people that have all sorts of vulnerabilities and they're in a different place and mentally. Maybe they've just lost somebody. Maybe they've gone through a divorce or whatever. Maybe they're just very naive, and that happens with females as well. And I don't think preying upon somebody and lying to them deliberately is ever a good thing.
Also, so let's back up real quick to what you were saying earlier. You said clearly most men know. I think that you're right. I think that probably most men who go into a strip club understand that it's a fantasy-based experience. But remember what she said. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if they don't think it is. I'm there to do a job. I'm there to make money, right? She doesn't care if there's men who come in there and don't believe that, they don't know that, or they fall for the parasocial aspect of this thing. She doesn't give a shit.
I mean, what is she
so
supposed
then in
to
turn,
do about
so
that?
hang on. She said it. Those were her words.
I did say that, and I believe that. I stand by
Can you
it.
repeat her words for me? Can you repeat them? So I know that you heard them.
Oh, she doesn't give a shit if they come there.
She doesn't give a shit. Yeah, she doesn't give a shit.
Again,
so the
that's
thing
her
is,
job.
Why in turn should men give a shit if women are taken advantage of? If women fall for the parasocial experience? Because I assume that most women believe that most men are just looking to score. They're just looking to get some. They're just looking to hit and run, right? I assume that. And so since I make that assumption, any of them that do that, shouldn't I just go, well, you know, I guess you shouldn't have fallen for it?
Well, no, because you're comparing a business and a service to a relationship, and they're just not. They're not the same.
But the only difference is the money, right?
No,
there's no real. There's no real
Comparing
distinction.
meeting somebody in a regular environment, you're comparing.
No. Why is it that when you make an analogy that people don't seem to understand, that if I say apples and oranges are different, I'm still comparing fruit. So while I'm comparing two different situations, the logic is still the same. Strippers take advantage of men. There's no doubt that they do. Escorts do the same thing. They take advantage of men all the time. There's no doubt that that's true. So if that is true, if you have 3 sugar daddies who are taking care of your bills and they all know each other.
We're not taking advantage of people that need help. We're therapists. We're not taking advantage of people who need help.
Yeah, you got them on the hoe couch, and you're going to make sure that they get their right therapy, and it's just going to cost them a lot of money, right? You're there for them. It's a public service.
Especially if you're cheating on your wife or your girlfriend.
What's your job, dude? Because I want to know, like...
I'm a robotics mechanic. What's your job?
Oh, I work at Amazon.
What's your job?
I work
Mrs.
at
Tree
Amazon.
Dater?
Huh?
Okay, wait. Can we go back to the
But
topic?
I wanted to know
Wait,
because,
what's your
like,
job,
I'm
Mrs.
pretty
Tree Dater?
sure.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Tree Dater. What's your job? I'm a robotics mechanic. What's your job?
She had a question related to what your
Yeah,
job
I
was.
have a question
Let
for her.
speak.
She asked me when I answered, I'm a robotics mechanic. What's your job?
I work at I said I work at a fucking warehouse. So
Yeah, you work
but
at a
I'm
fucking
trying.
warehouse. So where were you going with that?
Okay. Anyway, so because you want to sit here and act fucking smart, I got you. Anyway, I want to know, like, do your employees or whoever that you talk to, do they think that you're taking advantage of them as well for like what you do, or like?
No.
Okay, so why would that be the same for a fucking stripper? That's their job. Are you stupid?
Yeah, what you just said is incoherent, and I don't
How
even
is that
understand it.
incoherent? It's a job.
So wait a
Being a
second.
stripper is
You're
a
saying-
job.
Hang on. So are you saying that people can't fleece their customers by giving their customer an illusion
No,
and
and
taking
that's not what I'm
advantage of
saying.
them?
However, if they know
Hang on,
that
you have
what
to
they're
calm, you have to calm
getting.
down enough to let me get the question out before you
Wait,
answer.
hold on, but you've been like
Calm
yelling
down,
at
calm down.
everybody else.
Well,
You've
you
been
do
yelling at
realize that.
everybody
Okay,
else, so
okay.
I
I
don't
want you
know
to
who
do
you're
me a favor,
talking
real
to.
quick. Count how many people are in the room and count how many of me there are. Go ahead.
She doesn't need to do that because you definitely have been talking over
Like,
a couple
you've been rude
ladies
this
several
whole time.
times.
Nobody's even
And you've
talking
been
to you. We're having
interrupting.
this
I don't need you to
exchange.
talk
Let us
to me
finish our
for
I don't
exchange.
mind to listen to your
I don't know why. I don't know why
No, 'cause you're trying to
you're
make
even
people
involved
look
in the exchange.
stupid,
It has
and the
nothing to
only
do
thing
with
that
it.
you're
I
saying is
can
the
involve
dumbest
myself
shit
in
I've
anything
ever
I want
heard.
to. It's a podcast.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
and you can also involve yourself by not speaking until we're done with the exchange. Remember how you were having
Already
exchanges
did.
with other people and I didn't get in the mix? Remember
And
how
then
I
when you
gave you
did.
that kind of respect?
But then remember
you think
when
you
you
can show it
did.
back?
But
I don't
remember
know.
what you did.
Remember
Yeah,
when
I
you
don't
did,
think you
though?
can. But
I don't
try
think you could
anyway.
either.
So
Well, I've
back to
watched
the
you
exchange that we
try
were just
for many
having.
episodes, and I haven't seen
Before we
it.
were so rudely interrupted by, I don't know,
I
this
was
broad over
speaking
here.
with that.
Perhaps you can explain to me if there's that many people in the room and I'm having various arguments with those people, obviously I'm going to have to insert and interject far more than those people are for me. It's easy because there's one of me and there's many
Is
of
it
you.
not
right?
all of us though? We all have to interject if we don't like.
And
what's
you
your
all have
point?
been interjecting.
What's your point?
I was
My,
really enjoying
my
our
point is that if there's one of me and 9 of you, clearly in order to get some speaking
anyway,
time, I'm
just
going
get
to
back
have to
to the
interject more
topic.
than you
Point I
do.
was going to make.
so you need to
think I
allow
will.
him to finish asking the question. Go ahead, Andrew. Ask the question, then she can
Yeah.
respond.
Well, so the question is I don't know. In this case, you're creating a false dialectic. I was looking for a logical extension. I was saying, based on your logic, the extension of the logic should apply to these other situations. That's a logical extension. The
Okay.
false dialectic, which you propose, though, is saying because employers can mistreat their employees, that is in some way similar to selling a fantasy experience, and it's clearly not.
Are you talking to me or deadbeat?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Okay, so first of all, they're a stripper, right? So if they're a stripper, I don't go to a strip club thinking, oh, I'm gonna make this girl my wife. Like, that's your fuck up, honestly.
Okay, you know a lot of people don't go
Well,
there.
But that's my point.
I
That
would
makes
say
my point for me.
99% of customers do not go in thinking they're going to get a relationship, thinking they're going to get any type of long-term anything. They're going in there to have an experience, to party, and to have fun. And the ones that are going in there to talk about their wife because they're annoyed are paying for a girl to sit there and to just listen to them yap. And they know that. They're like, thank you for sitting here and listening to me talk about my deadbeat ass life. I'm going to give you $500. And they are the ones that are making that conscious decision.
Yeah, but that's not what the dispute is. Do you know what the dispute we're having even is?
He was saying, if I remember it correctly, Andrew, he was saying, don't you think that that's turnabout is fair play if a guy tells a girl that he has longer relationship intentions just to get her into bed, that the one should make the other one okay or balance each other out?
So
No.
if a girl's getting bread is the same, you're trying to say, is it the equivalent of a guy selling the idea of a long-term relationship?
No, what I'm saying is that if you have the expectation that most men who walk into a strip club are going to understand they're being sold a fantasy experience, I can agree with that. But what I'm saying is that there's clearly going to be some who do not think that it's just a pure fantasy experience, who are being taken advantage of.
I agree that could happen.
Yeah, sure. So my counter to this is just to say, well, wait a second. I also think that there's women who are being sold a fantasy experience from men. And
Each and every
men
day.
are essentially trying to get the thing that they want out of those women, just like you're trying to get money out of men. And so if that
My
is the
job.
case, it seems that turnabout is fair play, yeah?
Honestly, saying